The fascinating house sparrow. Introduction. Brief overview of the house sparrow, Passer domesticus. The house sparrow, scientifically known as Passer domesticus, holds a distinguished place in the avian landscape of Britain. As one of the most recognizable and ubiquitous birds, the house sparrow has long been intertwined with the fabric of British gardens, cities, and countryside. Measuring about 14 centimeters in length, the house sparrow is a small, plump bird with brown and grey plumage, distinguished by its characteristic black bib-like markings on its throat and chest. Its chirpy and lively demeanor often accompanies its presence in urban neighborhoods and rural landscapes alike. Historical significance and its connection to humans. The house sparrow's history in Britain dates back centuries, entwined with human settlements and activities. Initially, these birds were inhabitants of open woodlands, gradually adapting to human-made structures. Their affiliation with humans began during the agricultural revolution when settlements provided an ample supply of food and nesting opportunities. Throughout history, house sparrows have been emblematic of human habitation, often seen chirping around farmsteads, villages, and later, urban areas. Their association with human dwellings earned them the moniker house sparrows, indicative of their preference for nesting in crevices, eaves, and cavities in buildings. Their relationship with humans is multifaceted, ranging from admiration for their cheerful presence to occasional frustration due to their adaptability and sometimes large populations. House sparrows have been featured in literature, folklore, and art, symbolizing a sense of familiarity and a connection to the natural world for many Britons. Their decline in recent decades has sparked concern and rekindled interest in understanding and conserving these once ubiquitous birds. Exploring the historical ties between house sparrows and humans offers insight into their significance beyond being a common garden bird, highlighting their cultural and ecological importance within the British landscape. Taxonomy and description. Taxonomical classification of the house sparrow. The house sparrow, scientifically known as Passer domesticus, belongs to the order Passeriformes and the family Passeridae. Within the Passeridae family, it's part of the genus Passer, which includes various sparrow species worldwide. Physical description, size, coloration, distinctive features. The house sparrow is a small bird, measuring approximately 14 centimeters in length. Its plumage showcases a combination of brown, grey, and black hues, with males and females exhibiting slight differences in coloration. Male house sparrows flaunt a richer color palette with chestnut-brown upperparts, grey underparts, and a distinctive black bib-like patch on their throat, extending down to their chest. Their crown is chestnut-brown, complemented by a silvery grey cap. Female house sparrows sport more subdued plumage, primarily shades of brown with streaks and markings on their back and wings. They lack the bold black bib, and their colors overall appear softer compared to males. Both genders share a short, conical bill ideal for their omnivorous diet, and their legs and feet are adapted for perching and ground foraging. Their chirpy calls and lively nature make them easily recognizable in British gardens and urban landscapes. Gender differences and variations among populations. While males and females exhibit distinctive plumage differences, variations within populations are observed across geographical locations. House sparrows in urban settings might have slightly different coloring or behaviors compared to their rural counterparts. These variations can be influenced by factors such as diet, environmental conditions, and the proximity to human activity. Additionally, regional variations might exist in terms of vocalizations or nesting habits, showcasing the adaptability of these birds to different habitats. Understanding these subtle differences contributes to a richer comprehension of house sparrow populations across Britain and their ability to thrive in diverse environments. Habitat and distribution. Natural habitat preferences. House sparrows, historically inhabitants of open woodlands and steppes, have shown a remarkable affinity for human-made environments. Initially, these birds nested in natural cavities and shrubbery, but their adaptability led them to embrace human settlements, particularly areas with structures providing nesting opportunities. In their natural habitat, house sparrows seek out areas with ample vegetation cover, scattered bushes, and grassy patches. They are known to nest in hedgerows, farmlands, and open woodlands where food sources like seeds, insects, and grains are plentiful. Global distribution and regional variations. House sparrows, native to Eurasia, have been introduced to various regions worldwide, including Britain, where they have thrived for centuries. Their presence spans across urban, suburban, and rural landscapes, making them one of the most widespread bird species in the country. In Britain, house sparrows are prevalent throughout England, Scotland, Wales, and Northern Ireland. However, their distribution within these regions might vary, influenced by factors such as climate, habitat availability, and human activity. Regional populations might display subtle differences in behavior, diet, or plumage due to these variations. Globally, house sparrows have established themselves in diverse habitats, ranging from temperate regions to subtropical areas, showcasing their adaptability to different climates and environments. Adaptability to diverse environments, especially urban areas. One of the most remarkable aspects of house sparrows is their adaptability to urban environments. As human settlements expanded, these birds readily embraced cities and towns, finding nesting sites in nooks and crannies of buildings and foraging for food amidst human activity. Their adaptability to urban areas is evident in their ability to thrive amidst concrete jungles, utilizing gardens, parks, and even roadside vegetation for nesting and feeding. They've become a familiar sight in British cities, adding a touch of wildlife to urban landscapes. Their affinity for urban living, coupled with their resourcefulness in finding food sources like crumbs, seeds from bird feeders, and insects in gardens, has contributed to their sustained presence in British cities and towns. Understanding their adaptability sheds light on their successful coexistence with humans and their ability to thrive in diverse environments across Britain. Behaviour and social structure. Feeding habits and diet composition. House sparrows are opportunistic feeders with a varied diet. Their primary food sources include seeds, grains, and insects. In gardens, they frequently visit bird feeders, scavenging for seeds and table scraps. Their diet also comprises small berries, fruits, and occasionally, scraps of food discarded by humans. During breeding seasons, house sparrows focus on protein-rich diets, incorporating insects and caterpillars into their chicks' diets to ensure proper growth. They forage primarily on the ground but are adept at clinging to plants and branches while searching for food. Nesting behavior, mating rituals, and breeding patterns. Nesting begins in early spring, with house sparrows displaying an affinity for nesting in colonies, often in close proximity to human habitations. They construct their nests in nooks, crevices, and cavities found in buildings, walls, and trees. These nests are built using twigs, grass, feathers, and other soft materials, providing a secure haven for their young. Mating rituals involve elaborate displays by males, showcasing their plumage and singing abilities to attract females. Once pairs are formed, they engage in courtship behavior, which often includes mutual preening and feeding displays. Breeding occurs from spring through summer, and house sparrows typically produce multiple broods during this period. Females lay several eggs, usually ranging from 4 to 6 per clutch, and both parents partake in incubating the eggs and caring for the hatchlings. Social dynamics within house sparrow communities. House sparrows exhibit a complex social structure within their communities. They're gregarious birds, often seen in flocks, especially during non-breeding seasons. These flocks might consist of mixed-age groups, with juveniles learning behavior from older individuals. Males establish dominance hierarchies, especially during the breeding season, displaying aggressive behaviors towards other males to secure territories and mating opportunities. Females play a crucial role in nest building and raising offspring, engaging in cooperative behaviors within their colonies. Their social interactions involve various vocalizations, posturing, and displays to communicate and establish hierarchy within the flock. Understanding their social dynamics sheds light on their cooperative breeding behavior and the mechanisms behind their successful survival in diverse habitats across Britain. Importance in ecosystems. Role as seed dispersers and their impact on vegetation. House sparrows play a significant role as seed dispersers, particularly for various plants and weeds. Their foraging habits often involve feeding on seeds and grains, inadvertently aiding in the distribution of seeds across landscapes. By consuming and subsequently excreting seeds, house sparrows contribute to the dispersion and germination of plants, influencing vegetation patterns in urban and rural areas. Relationship with other bird species and ecological balance. Within the avian community, house sparrows have complex interactions with other bird species. They share habitats with numerous species and might compete for resources, especially in urban environments where space and food sources are limited. Despite potential competition, they also form associations with other bird species, sometimes utilizing similar nesting sites or foraging together, contributing to a dynamic ecological balance. Their presence in ecosystems serves as a crucial link in food webs, providing prey for predators like raptors and serving as hosts for certain parasites. While their interactions might vary from cooperative to competitive, they contribute to the intricate web of relationships within British ecosystems. Influence on insect populations and pest control. House sparrows are voracious insect consumers, especially during the breeding season when they feed insects to their young. Their diet includes various pests harmful to agricultural crops and gardens, making house sparrows inadvertently beneficial for pest control. By preying on insects like caterpillars, beetles, and aphids, they help regulate insect populations, indirectly aiding in maintaining ecological balance and supporting agricultural productivity. Understanding the house sparrow's ecological role sheds light on their importance in maintaining biodiversity, contributing to seed dispersal, and indirectly assisting in pest management within British ecosystems. Their presence and behaviour influence various facets of the natural world, showcasing their significance beyond their status as a common garden bird. Human interaction and conservation. Historical association with humans and cultural significance. House sparrows have a rich historical association with humans in Britain, spanning centuries. Initially regarded as companions in rural landscapes, they transitioned to become emblematic of human habitation as settlements expanded. Their cheerful chirping and familiarity made them a constant presence around homes, farms, and urban neighbourhoods. In British culture, house sparrows feature prominently in folklore, literature, and art, symbolizing a connection to nature and a sense of home. Their presence was once so pervasive that their decline has sparked concern among those who grew up with them as a common sight in their daily lives. Challenges faced by house sparrows, population decline factors. Despite their historical significance, house sparrow populations have faced notable declines across Britain. Multiple factors contribute to this decline, including changes in agricultural practices leading to reduced food availability, loss of nesting sites due to modern building designs, increased predation, pollution affecting food sources, and potential diseases. Urbanization has also played a role, altering landscapes and reducing suitable habitats for house sparrows. Changing gardening practices, use of pesticides, and a shift towards tidy, manicured gardens have limited food sources and nesting opportunities, impacting their survival. Conservation efforts, initiatives, and success stories. Conservation efforts aimed at house sparrow preservation have gained momentum across Britain. Various organizations, wildlife trusts, and conservation groups have undertaken initiatives to raise awareness about the decline of house sparrows. These efforts involve citizen science projects, community engagement, and promoting bird-friendly practices in urban and rural areas. Success stories in specific regions showcase how targeted conservation actions can positively impact house sparrow populations. Through habitat restoration, provision of nesting sites, and promoting wildlife-friendly gardening practices, some communities have witnessed the return of house sparrows, highlighting the potential for local conservation efforts to make a difference. Ongoing research into the factors influencing their decline and the implementation of measures to mitigate these challenges remain pivotal in ensuring the long-term survival of house sparrows across Britain. The concerted efforts of conservationists, communities, and individuals play a crucial role in safeguarding these beloved birds and preserving their place in British ecosystems and culture. House sparrows and urban environments. Adaptation to urban landscapes and behavior changes. House sparrows showcase remarkable adaptability to urban environments, a characteristic that has contributed to their continued presence in British cities. They have adjusted their behavior and nesting habits to thrive amidst the concrete structures and bustling human activity. Adapting to smaller green spaces, they utilize parks, gardens, and even roadside vegetation for nesting and foraging. Their diet has also adapted to urban settings, incorporating human-provided food sources such as crumbs, bird feeders, and discarded food scraps. They have shown behavioral changes, becoming bolder in their interactions with humans, sometimes even entering cafes and outdoor seating areas to scavenge for food. Benefits and drawbacks of house sparrow presence in cities. The presence of house sparrows in cities brings both benefits and drawbacks. On the positive side, their presence adds a touch of nature to urban landscapes, connecting city dwellers to the natural world. Their cheerful chirping and lively antics often brighten up urban spaces, fostering a sense of familiarity and comfort. From an ecological perspective, house sparrows contribute to pest control by preying on insects harmful to gardens and crops. However, their adaptability and high population densities can sometimes lead to issues such as noise pollution due to their vocalizations or competition with other bird species for resources in urban settings. Human attitudes and perceptions toward these birds. Human attitudes toward house sparrows in urban areas vary. For many, these birds evoke nostalgia, reminding them of a time when house sparrows were more abundant and synonymous with British gardens. Some embrace their presence, enjoying their chirping and considering them a part of the urban landscape. However, there are contrasting views as well. Some perceive house sparrows as pests due to their habit of scavenging for food scraps or nesting in buildings, occasionally causing minor disturbances. Human attitudes towards these birds often depend on personal experiences, cultural backgrounds, and perceptions of cleanliness or nuisance. Overall, house sparrows continue to be a part of the urban fabric in Britain, eliciting a spectrum of reactions from residents. Understanding and appreciating their adaptability and the role they play in urban ecosystems can foster a more positive coexistence between humans and these resilient birds. Future prospects and research. Ongoing studies and areas for further research. Ongoing studies on house sparrows in Britain encompass various aspects, including understanding the factors contributing to their population decline. Researchers focus on investigating the impacts of urbanization, changes in agricultural practices, pollution, diseases, and habitat loss on house sparrow populations. Continued research into the behaviour, genetics, and adaptations of house sparrows in urban environments remains vital. Areas for further research include assessing the effectiveness of conservation strategies and exploring the potential influence of climate change on house sparrows. Understanding how climate shifts might affect their distribution, nesting habits, and food availability is crucial for predicting their future. Potential implications for conservation and ecosystem management. Insights gained from ongoing research have significant implications for house sparrow conservation and broader ecosystem management in Britain. By identifying key factors influencing their decline, conservation efforts can be refined and targeted more effectively. Strategies such as habitat restoration, provision of suitable nesting sites, and promoting bird-friendly practices in urban areas can be further developed based on research findings. Additionally, understanding the role of house sparrows within ecosystems helps in holistic management approaches. Conservation measures for house sparrows can inadvertently benefit other species sharing similar habitats and food resources, contributing to overall biodiversity conservation. Predictions for the house sparrow's future in changing environments. Predicting the house sparrow's future in Britain involves considering their adaptability and the ability of conservation efforts to mitigate decline factors. With continued urbanization and changes in agricultural landscapes, house sparrows might continue to face challenges in finding suitable nesting sites and food sources. However, conservation initiatives and public awareness campaigns have the potential to halt or reverse population declines. Predictions for their future indicate that house sparrows may persist in British urban areas, but might continue to face fluctuations in population numbers. Adaptation to changing environments and human attitudes toward conservation efforts will significantly influence their future status in Britain. Continued research and proactive conservation measures remain pivotal in securing a sustainable future for house sparrows in the changing landscapes of Britain. Attracting house sparrows to your British garden. Creating a welcoming habitat. Natural vegetation. Incorporate diverse vegetation like bushes, shrubs, and hedges to provide cover and nesting sites. Native plants with berries or seeds can serve as food sources, Nesting opportunities: install nest boxes or structures with small openings, mimicking natural nesting sites in walls or crevices. Consider their preference for communal nesting by providing multiple nesting spots. Food and water sources. Seed feeders: use bird feeders with mixed seeds, particularly sunflower seeds and millet, which house sparrows favor. Ensure the feeders are easily accessible and regularly topped up. Insect-friendly gardening: encourage insects by minimizing pesticide use and planting insect-attracting flowers. House sparrows rely on insects, especially during the breeding season, to feed their young. Water feature: provide a shallow water source for drinking and bathing. Even a simple bird bath can attract house sparrows, especially during dry periods. Creating a safe environment. Predator protection: position feeders and nesting spots strategically to minimize exposure to predators like cats. Ensure the garden provides safe perching areas for house sparrows to observe their surroundings. Avoid excessive tidiness: allow for some natural messiness in the garden. Fallen leaves and plant debris can attract insects, providing additional food sources for house sparrows. Year-round provision: maintain food and water sources throughout the year. House sparrows will frequent gardens where resources are consistently available. By creating a garden habitat that caters to the needs of house sparrows, you can increase the likelihood of these charming birds visiting and nesting in your British garden. It's a rewarding endeavour that fosters a closer connection to nature while supporting the conservation of these beloved avian companions. Conclusion. Recap of the house sparrow's significance. The house sparrow, a ubiquitous bird in Britain, holds deep historical and cultural significance. Once synonymous with human habitation, these birds have adorned gardens, farms, and urban landscapes for generations. Their cheerful presence and adaptability have made them an integral part of British ecosystems and human experiences. Final thoughts on its role in ecosystems and its relationship with humans. House sparrows play multifaceted roles in ecosystems, from seed dispersal to insect control. Their adaptability to urban environments showcases their resilience, while their interactions with other bird species contribute to the intricate balance of British ecosystems. Their relationship with humans, though evolving, remains significant. From folklore to everyday urban encounters, house sparrows evoke nostalgia and a sense of connection to nature. Their presence, once taken for granted, now prompts reflection on the delicate interplay between human activity and wildlife. Encouragement for continued appreciation and conservation efforts. As house sparrow populations face challenges, their conservation becomes imperative. Continued research, community engagement, and conservation initiatives offer hope for their preservation. Encouraging bird-friendly practices, providing nesting sites, and promoting awareness about their ecological importance are vital steps toward ensuring their survival. Appreciation for these resilient birds and their place in British landscapes serves as a reminder of our interconnectedness with nature. Through concerted efforts and a renewed appreciation for these familiar companions, we can strive to secure a future where house sparrows continue to chirp, thrive, and enrich our lives in Britain.